Hi there, I'm Carolyn Southwell, and in this short course, I'm going to teach you how to make decisions as a generator or a manifesting generator. Now, if you see me looking down, I have taken extensive notes for this training. And well, mostly because if I talk to each slide, to be honest, I would go on endless tangents and tell you all of these stories. And this training video would be way longer than it needs to be. And I value your time. So the best way that I can to honor that is to make sure that I read off my notes and I will look up at the camera as often as I can. So let's do it. Whether you are super new to human design, or you've been learning about it for a while, but you're still struggling to make decisions as a generator or a manifesting generator, then this video training will be helpful for you. It'll be helpful if you are any kind of generator, regardless of all the other things on your chart. If you are any configuration of manifesting generator, or if you are another type who serves Gen or Man-Gen clients, or you have Gen or Man-Gen family members or loved ones or a best buddy that you really just want to understand better. I have made the explanations as simple and straightforward as possible. So grab a pen and paper or some other way to take notes and let's do it. Over the next 10 minutes or so, I'm going to cover these 5 things. What every generator or manifesting generator must know, regardless of the inner authority listed on their human design chart when it comes to making decisions. What sacral sounds are and what they actually sound like. What good sacral questions are and how to ask them. Where you might get stuck in this process of like listening and trusting your sacral and asking good sacral questions and what to do about it. And how to layer the sacral sounds correctly into your individual decision-making authority if you don't have sacral inner authority listed on your chart. So if this sounds good to you already, please hit the like button. It helps YouTube to share it with more people so more people can find it and we can help more people. Good? Thank you. All right, number 1, what every generator and manifesting generator, or Man-Gen for short, must know regardless of the inner authority listed on your human design chart. So all generators and Man-Gens are sacral beings. That means you're a human being with a defined and reliable sacral center. You can rely on it, you can trust it. This particular flavor of doing and building and working energy is there for you every day. Now, your defined sacral center helps you know your truth about any decision that you wish to make. And just so you know, this is not the case for projectors, manifestors, or reflectors. They have a range of different ways to make correct decisions for them, and trusting their sacral is not one of them. This is unique to you, generator or manifesting generator, as a sacral being. Now, regardless of whether you're a generator or Man-Gen, whether you have emotional authority or sacral authority, splenic generated authority, or you have an inner authority with some weird new name somebody else came up with. First and foremost, you have to listen to your sacral, or some people will call it their gut knowing. That's the basis for you as a sacral being. So having a defined sacral and learning to listen to it is like your best friend has your back. It's like you get a cheat sheet or a hack to making the right decision, and the right decision for you every single time. So let's talk about sacral sounds. What are they? What do they sound like? Sacral sounds are the sounds that you make when you let your gut answer. And you're answering any kind of yes or no question quickly and without thinking about your answer. It's like your immediate gut response. It will sound different for each sacral being. So for some of you, it will sound like uh-huh or mm-hmm for yes, or mm-mm for no. If you're a manifesting generator with the 3420 channel defined, I'll explain that a bit later, it will probably sound more like yep, 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 yep for yes, for something you do want, and no, nah, nope, a very quick no for something you don't want. Now, some generators and Man-Gens struggle to make these sounds, these sacral sounds, these guttural sounds. If that's you, it's probably because you were taught that it was rude and that you should answer in a more polite way. The problem with the so-called polite answer is that it means you have to use more language, and that forces you into your mind, and thus you're pushed out of your body, and that's where all your gorgeous wisdom is. So If that's the case for you, please do actively practice making these sounds again, because waking your sacral up is one of the most powerful gifts that you can give yourself as a sacral being. Now, if you do feel really uncomfortable making these sounds, then try starting by noticing how you feel in your body. When somebody asks you a yes/no question, rather than one that requires you to test your knowledge, but where you actually have to make a decision, notice how you feel in your body. A yes is going to feel warm and expansive, and you may feel the energy rise towards your throat. You may feel your body move towards the person who's asking you the question. A no rather, in contrast, is going to feel cold and contractive, and you might find it hard to speak, like the words don't want to quite come out of your throat, and you may feel yourself pulled backwards away from the person that's asking the question. Okay. Now, this realization is often a very big shift in awareness for many generators and manifesting generators. So if you're having a big aha moment right now, I would love to hear about it. You can go ahead and share in the comments below this video. And often your comments as generators and manifesting generators can really help other gens and man-gens who are feeling a bit lost. Okay, now let's go on to topic number 3. Sacral questions. What is a good sacral question and how do we ask one? The whole point of a sacral session, which is a coaching session that you can do with any decent human design specialist, is for you to discover the decision that you really want to make for any given situation. Now, to know what your truth is as a sacral being, you have to hear your sacral speak. And to hear your sacral speak, you have to have a good, short, closed question for you to respond to. So a really good and effective sacral session starts by getting your sacral turned on. That is, it gets you out of your head and into your body, specifically down into your gut. Now, if you're not wanting to work with a human design specialist at this point in time, you can ask a friend or a partner or some other patient person to ask you totally boring, obvious yes/no questions to get you started. You have to answer these questions with sacral sounds only. No thinking, no long story, no going up into your head thinking about all the why, what ifs, etc. Just immediate yes, no, gut response. Okay, so here are some examples of stupidly obvious questions that your buddy could ask you. Are you sitting down? Answer with yes, no from your gut. Is your hair brown? Answer straight away with your gut. Is your name, and then they're going to insert your name there, obviously, not mine, not theirs, not anybody else's, just your name. Straight away to get a yes, no. Be sure that you answer with a yes or no sound. Uh-huh, uh-uh, mm-hmm, mm-mm, as quickly as possible. Now, you need to make sure that the questions that are asked of you are a match for you. So, for example, I wouldn't ask a bald man in one of my sacral sessions if his hair is brown, because that's going to trigger thinking and all the times when he's thought about his hair falling out. The same if I had somebody who'd gone through chemotherapy. I'm not going to ask them about their hair. I'm going to ask them about something completely different that's a really good match for them. That's not going to trigger them to go up into their mind and think and feel. We just want to be in the sensation of the gut knowing straight away. So make sure the questions that your buddy is asking you are stupidly obvious and that they're a sensible match for you. Now, tell your question asking buddy to keep asking those very obvious questions that require no thinking on your part until they can see that you're answering those questions easily and effortlessly. Then they need to ask you the important question phrased in such a way that it also won't trigger thinking on your part. You might want to come up with this question in advance so you have it ready. Or if your buddy is really good and a quick study on this is quite intuitive, they might just be able to work out a quick, short yes/no question. When you get the answer to your all-important question, you might be surprised by what your gut has to say. Now, the important question might sound something like this. Is it time to quit your job? Or is this the right course for you? Or do you want to buy that house? Do make sure that the important question or questions are very short, are straight to the point. They can't be longer than more than about half a dozen words. And if the question can't be logically answered with a yes or a no, then you need to rethink the question. So the question can't start with when blah, blah, blah. How do you feel about blah, blah, blah? What about X, Y, and Z? Nothing open, all closed. Has to be answered yes or no. They're the only options. Yeah? Okay. So before we move on to topic 4, here are some reminders. This training is a starting point. If you're brand new to asking or answering sacral questions, it's not necessarily going to be easy or fluid on your first go. And it's not going to be as fluid necessarily as if you did this with a sacral session with a specialist. But hopefully that you've got enough information that you can do this on your own for now. So if there's any part of this process you don't understand, first, consider having a play with the process, because we learn a huge amount through trial and error, through experiencing things, all of us. And you might want to rewatch this video again. If you need to, you can rewatch, especially the part at the that we've just covered about the sacral questions process. And if you're still not sure after you've watched through to the end and watched all of those pieces and you've had a try, then please do add a comment as a question below and tell me what part of the process you don't fully understand. Now, if you are going to do it on your own, it will take some practice. If you want me to personally walk you through a sacral session so that you can have a direct experience and I can help you make an important question, I'm happy to do that. And then I can teach you the process as you go. There is a link in the description for you to get coaching with me to do one of these sacral sessions. Now, assuming that you are going to do this on your own, please know there might be some places where you might get stuck in the mud with this process, which is great fun if you're doing an obstacle course, not so much fun if you're trying to make an important decision, right? So where you might get stuck and what you can do about it. You might quit before you get comfortable with this process of letting your sacral speak. You might not have anyone who is willing to ask you yes/no questions. You might find that somebody is willing to ask you questions, but they don't follow the process well enough to really help you get out of your head and into your body. You might find that you're not trusting your sacral. This is common. And you might decide to ignore your sacral because what it's asking you to do and what it wants to do is too scary. So they're the problems. Let's look at some solutions now. Yeah? Okay. Letting your sacral speak in sounds might take some practice if it's really unfamiliar. I recommend to all my manifesting generator clients, when they start out with this, if it feels really scary or uncomfortable, to start with small things. So when somebody asks you, do you want a cuppa? Uh-huh. Uh-uh. Answer with a sound. Or you can practice with a non-judgmental friend. Or if you have friends who are into human design, even better, practice with them because they'll get it. You don't have to explain anything. Okay, now if you don't have anyone who can ask you yes/no questions and you don't feel brave enough to ask someone, then try journaling a heap of questions that you can answer with only yes or no. Then close your eyes, drop your finger onto the page, and when you open your eyes, immediately answer the question that your finger is on with a sound only, no thinking. Basically, you're doing a sacral session with yourself, and you can do it this way or any other way that you dream up. What you need to do is prevent your mind from being able to think about what the answer is in advance, so your gut can answer on the spot. More solutions. If the person asking you is willing, but they're doing it incorrectly, then take some time to explain this to them again, that they have to ask closed questions that you can only answer with a yes or a no. Remind them that the entire point of this process is to get your body, your gut to answer. And that means it has to be so simple that the mind is not required to consciously think, because otherwise your conditioned mind and all your patterns and programs and judgments and beliefs and all of those things are going to interrupt and talk over the top of your gut truth. Also, you can share this video with them. That would be helpful. If you don't trust your sacral, rest assured that is very, very, very common. And it's definitely solvable. Now, when we get told to write a pros and cons list or consider all our options, we've been taught to listen to the mind, when in fact, all our decision-making wisdom is in our body. And for you as a sacral being, it's in your sacral. Again, I remind my generator and managing clients who struggle with this to start small and let the trust grow through experience. See, if you can trust yourself when it comes to which food item you'd like off the menu, or whether you want to wear this dress or that dress, or any other small day-to-day decision that you need to make, then you get a chance to see that you can make good decisions. Even if you feel like you've made a bad decision in the past. In fact, that's probably the entire reason that you struggle to make decisions easily, because of a past experience where you chose an option that went badly. So start with low risk decisions. You have to make so many tiny decisions every single day. So practice several times every single day. Then you'll start to see that you trusted your gut and the world didn't immediately cave in. And you'll probably feel safer to make more and more decisions this way, even the really big ones. All right, topic number 5. We're nearly at the end. Woo! Okay, this is the final step. Let's look at how to layer sacral sounds correctly into your individual human design decision-making process while still honoring your unique inner authority as it's listed on your chart. So over the next few slides, we'll look at emotional authority. Some charts say splenic generated authority, and we'll look at the manifesting generators with the channel 3420 defined. Home stretch, let's go. Now I realized I forgot to say explicitly and didn't put it on this slide what it means to have sacral authority. If that's you, and that is about 30% of you, you don't need to layer anything extra in, which is why I forgot to put it on the slide. You just ask yourself or get someone else to ask you sacral questions on the spot. And I promise it gets easier and faster. The more you do this, it will just become second nature and you'll automatically make all your little decisions this way. And you'll have your answer on the spot. So that's it. There's nothing more complicated. There's nothing to layer in. You're done. Of course, many of you will have emotional authority. So simply speaking, that means that you need to wait a day or 2 or 3 or maybe more, or however long it takes for you to feel really clear and calm and grounded about the decision that you're making. You must check with your sacral during that time. Your sacral needs to give the same answer over those handful of days. If your sacral switches from yes one day and then no the next day and then yes the next day again, you're going to be on a crazy emotional roller coaster the whole time that you're involved in whatever that opportunity is that you've said yes to. You don't want that. It means it's not the right decision for you. Now, if your inner authority says splenic generated, and some of them do, there's all sorts of different things written on charts as people create more and more different software. What it simply means is that your defined spleen is influencing your defined sacral. It'll feel different for you, maybe a touch faster is what my clients tell me, than for someone who only has their sacral defined. But since you can't live in both bodies, like you can't have one version and the other and compare and contrast them, just notice how your sacral feels and listen to it when you answer yes/no questions. Now, the only other noticeable difference in the population, the sacral being population, are the way the sacral of the 3420 manifesting generator speaks. Now, just to be clear, this will be you if your chart says manifesting generator as the type and you have a colored line that is red or black or red and black or checkered, and it connects the sacral center directly to the throat center. And it will run directly through the 2 gates that are labeled 34 and 20. Hope that's clear. So I pointed this out earlier. These people will speak very quickly. They may even just nod for a yes or shake their head for a no. They may not even make any sounds. Or if they do make sounds, they might be really quick. Yep, yep, yep. They might even interrupt you as you're talking. Yep, yep, because their sacral saying yep really fast, or no, no, you know, it'll be really quick, and that will be perfect if that's you. You made it. Okay, if you found this video helpful, if you can think of a generator or a manifesting generator buddy or colleague or family member or friend or client who really struggles with making decisions, then please do share this video with them now. Thank you for helping me share this important work. And if you want more empowering content like this, you can subscribe by clicking the subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner of this video, or there's a word subscribe. It depends on which device you're on, right? You'll figure it out. You're clever. And that's it from me for today. Bye-bye for now.